Hi, thank you so much for coming to my studio once again for drawing the portrait in pencil, part 2. If you are new here, it would be a great idea for you to hit the subscribe button because I do everything from airbrush tutorials in portraits, pastel portraits and figures, as well as pencil portraits. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you won't miss any of the free art lessons. After you subscribe, you want to go ahead and hit that little bell icon, which will in turn alert you via email every time a new video of mine is available. Without further ado, on to drawing the portrait in pencil, part 2. The inner contours are the shapes within the form that help describe the form. So it is important to hit that value correctly, but you got to make sure that you have those shapes correct. Also the adjacent shapes and how they interact with each other. Think of one shape within the form connecting to another shape, just like one state connects to another state. Are the borders straight? Not usually. They usually meander, go in and go out. Find the big shapes first and then find those contours, those borders between the two shapes. You want to create a kind of tapestry, and that is what creates form. 3 dimensions as well as reality. When you need to go darker, don't continue with the mechanical pencil, but use the Woodless Graphite 6B. You wouldn't be able to get that rich dark otherwise, so make sure you have the right tool for the right job. As you can see, I like holding the pencil from the end as opposed to choking up all the way at the point. What it allows you is to have more control and see that point as it hits the surface a lot more clearly. It's just something that I developed as a working method over the years, and you might want to try it. Never ever be in a hurry to finish your drawing or painting. Unless you have a tight deadline, and if you do, I hope the person paying you is paying you handsomely. Drawing is a relaxed activity, and it takes concentration, and it takes deliberate concentration. So there is no rush. Actually, if there is a rush, you're going to mess up. Let's go ahead and speed up the process of this drawing so I could share more of my working methods with you. You definitely want to make sure that you do not stay in one area too long. What could happen is that you would have two eyes, a nose, and a mouth as opposed to a face. Working things together, bringing things along together, creates a unified portrait, a work of art. By moving around and not staying in one area, you are actually seeing the forest and not getting hung up on the trees. You see the whole and not the parts. So I went ahead and put the grayscale finder just to the right of the drawing to show you that you constantly have to refer to what values you're working with. Not only the values that you see, but how those values relate to other parts of the drawing. This is very important to create a cohesive portrait that has realism and life. As I mentioned earlier, you want to take your time with the drawing. Let it develop. Let it happen. Be very vigilant. Pay attention. But still, let it happen.
Time will working out the ways that you'll always be right. Light, can it wait? If we fell apart, would you want me to stay? Why do we always start to come back together right when we fall? Fade out, heavenly tangerine. Drain out, won't you come back to me if it breaks down?
Time to establish the hair. The dark in the hair will help us to redefine the correct values and also really get in there and refine the beautiful contour on the right side of the portrait.
You always got to be right. Light, it can't wait. I don't care if you think it's too late, we still got time. Why do we always start to come back together right when we fall? Fade out, heavenly tangerine. Drain out, won't you come back to me? And even if it ends, would you turn your back on me? Can we forget the past and start over? Fade out, heavenly tangerine. Fade out, heavenly tangerine. Drain out, won't you come back to me? Fade out, heavenly tangerine. And if it breaks down, you'll still be right for me. If it breaks down, you'll still be right for me.
Hey, thank you so much for coming to my studio. It's always great to hang out, talk about art, go over some techniques, and I really enjoy the company. So I hope this was very informative for you. Some really nice printables and techniques that I have come up with over the years that could help you take your portrait drawings to the very next level. So next week we're going to do part 3. We're also going to do, I believe, part 9 of painting the portrait in airbrush. And I do have also coming up really soon some really great frisket techniques and how this could help you with your pastel paintings. So I hope you have a great rest of the week. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that. And I'll talk to you soon. You take care of yourselves.